Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Locker Room, our weekly podcast where we shine a light on all of the kids in our Bayou region. And when I say kids, I mean those student athletes who are doing things for their school and their community, sort of up and beyond. And we are coming to the end of the school year, April 20th. I don't know how we got here so quick. I am Stan Gravois. He is Dustin Robichaux. And April 20th, for you folks out there who are really excited about what this day is, today is what, Dustin?
Happy Lookalike Day, Stan.
Happy Lookalike. If you have a doppelganger out there, this show is for you. Do you have somebody? Have you ever been told you look like
I
someone?
have, but I thought the guy was crazy. I was at Disney World, and I was about to get on a ride, and the guy was like, "Hey, you look like Paul Rudd." And I was like, "I don't think so." And you have one. Your former students, back in the teaching days,
you.
always said that you look like
Santa
James-
Claus.
Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Also, James Hetfield,
I'm
the
younger.
lead singer of Metallica.
When I was younger and he was younger.
Yes.
There was a little bit of that. Yes. I used to get the Metallica, James Hetfield kind of comparison. I've gotten Kenny Rogers,
Okay.
which I could see. I was actually in a DMV just recently, and the lady was taking my picture for my new license and said, "Do you know you look like maybe a little bit younger, maybe a little bit thinner Santa Claus?" And I was like, "Okay." And then she started broadcasting it to everybody in the DMV, and the old DMV was like asking me if they could get what they want for Christmas. So
Here you go.
there you go. So today is basically lookalike day.
Lookalike Day, yes.
Interesting. Find that person that you look like. Yeah, interesting. Hey, listen, it's baseball and softball playoff time. We are entering the second round. We're going to get you caught up with all of that. Very special guest here today. We have Chad Menard, who's going to talk with us. Chad is the head coach of Vandebilt Catholic. Vandebilt Catholic is the #1 seeded baseball team in Division II Select, which is awesome, right? Especially considering that the girls, the softball team, are the #1 seed in the Division II Select softball bracket. So Vanderbilt obviously has something really special going on. We appreciate that Chad is going to give us some time this morning. Want to get you caught up on what teams are still in. First, we look at Division I non-select, no local Bayou Region teams, but Hornville and Destrehan still in. Hornville going to take on North Shore, Destrehan going to take on West Monroe. Then in Division II non-select, no Bayou Region teams in there, but Lutcher, who is from our local district, is still in. They'll be taking on number 14, Franklinton. Then we get to the teams out of local that I think have excellent chances to make a deep run in this playoffs. First, in Division II Select Baseball, you have Vandebilt Catholic. They are your #1 seed, as I mentioned earlier. Going to have, again, Coach Menard on just a little bit later. His team is going to be taking on number 17, Frederick Douglass, in a 3-game series. That starts on Wednesday. So they'll play Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If Friday is necessary, hopefully Vanderbilt goes out and takes care of business, and they win the first 2 games and it's done and they won't need to play on Friday, which I suspect is what's going to happen because Frederick Douglass is not a very good baseball team. E.D. White is taking on number 10, Haynes Academy. E.D. White, the number 7 seed. They too will be playing on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in those games, or on the campus of E.D. White. Then in Division IV, Covenant Christian, an excellent chance to make a run to Sulphur. They're the number 2 seed. They'll be taking on either St. Frederick or Ascension Catholic. Those 2 teams still have yet to play. Remember, in Division IV Select, you play only a single game. You don't play best out of 3. So this is sort of a slow play for that particular bracket. As a matter of fact, Central Catholic is in there and they haven't played a playoff game yet. They'll be taking on Hanson. That game is going to be tomorrow night, Tuesday night, at 6 p.m. So we wish both those teams well because they're actually both in St. Mary Parish. Then we move on to softball. That's all we have for you in baseball, folks. In softball, once again, in Division I non-select, it's Destrehan and Hornville. It's what we've been saying all year. They still dominate District 8-5A. Destrehan's going to be taking on Barb. Barb is number 11, so they'll be coming into town to take on Destrehan and Destrehan. And Hornville is going to be entertaining number 9, Ouachita Parish. Those games are both going to be played. Oh, I'm sorry. One's on Wednesday. The first is on Wednesday. The second is going to be played on Tuesday. Uh, then we move on to Division Two non-select. South Terrebonne's still in it. They got a big win in the first round against Franklinton. They'll be taking on number 7 Grant, but this time they're going to have to travel. So on Tuesday, they'll have a 5 o'clock start time playing in Grant Parish, which is a dry parish way up north. So I imagine those girls from South Terrebonne are going to miss most of the day of school tomorrow. Assumption's still in the playoffs. They'll be taking on Lutcher, two teams from the same district playing each other in Lutcher. Lutcher, the number 2 seed, Assumption, the number 15 seed. And then we go where I think we're going to see two teams from our local area in the state championship game against each other. And that would be Vandebilt and E.D. White. Vanderbilt Catholic starts their trek to another state championship. They're trying for their 3rd in a row. They'll be taking on number 17, the Willow School. That's going to be played tomorrow at 4 o'clock on the campus of Vanderbilt. And E.D. White is going to be taking on Kenner Discovery on E.D. White's campus Tuesday at 5:30. I think both those teams are going to advance. And I think both of them are going to be playing in the state championship. And then in Division 3, Berwick is still in. They're making a move. They're going to be moving on to take on Marksville. Then we move on to Division 3 select Houma Christian, a big win against De La Salle in the first round. They'll be taking on St. Thomas Aquinas on the North Shore. That's going to be a little bit stiffer competition as St. Thomas Aquinas is the number 7 seed. Catholic and New Iberia from that same district still in the playoffs. And finally, we go to Division 4 select. Covenant Christian found out who they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing number 14, St. Frederick. That game is going to be here in Houma. It's going to be at the Bayou Country Complex, Sports Complex on 311. And it is going to be played Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So that's a look at all of our teams still in the playoffs. We're getting ready for district and regional track meets. We'll keep you updated with those things as we come to an end to the 2025-2026 school year. Has it gone as quick for you as it is for me?
It has.
Yeah, it's
Very fast.
very fast, very fast. As I mentioned earlier, so happy to have Chad Menard with us. He's going to talk a little bit about his Terriers. Let's get to that. It is my pleasure to have the head coach of Vanderbilt Catholic's baseball program, Chad Menard, with us. Coach Menard, first, congratulations on such a wonderful regular season, district champs. You guys went out and played extremely well against a really tough schedule. Talk about your thoughts related to the season and sort of how it played out.
The season was an exciting experience. Lot of, as you mentioned, a lot of tough competition, some ups and downs, but our kids prepared well. They stayed consistent. When you play such a long season, if you can get caught up in highs and lows, but you got to really stay consistent and stay disciplined. That's one of the pillars of our program is just to, win every day. Uh, you know, enjoy your successes and don't let the lows get you too down. But our guys continue to work every day, prepared and continue to prepare with the end in mind. We kind of reverse engineer how we do this thing. And so we talked about being our best for the playoffs and building up to that point. And now we're there and, we checked a lot of boxes that we wanted to, and we still got some goals left to achieve.
Talk about 3-game series. I know you've done it throughout the year, especially early on in your schedule, but now it's going to be best 2 out of 3 all the way going into Sulphur. That being said, you're going to play Frederick Douglass at the end of this week in a 3-game series at your place. Is it different? Is it something that y'all have adapted to over the last couple of years?
Well, it's similar to how I just responded. We prepare for that moment. We understand what the playoffs are like in this 3-game series. So you kind of build depth in your pitching staff. You prepare to, recover and or play a doubleheader or do the different things that a 3-game series allows. So I don't know. I feel like we've prepared for this moment, for this time in our season. So now we just got to go out and trust our preparation and see how everything falls.
You did play this weekend. The Louisiana High School Athletic Association allows, if you have a gap there in the playoffs, that you could play an exhibition, and you guys got together with another local team, CCA. I guess that's more or less just to not be sitting around doing anything, right? Talk about what you think you gained from doing that this past weekend.
Well, it keeps your skills sharp. We see each other all the time, and to see somebody with a different colored uniform really helps. Really helps continue the process of development and just the competition piece, and to see the variety of pitchers that Covenant Christian who can bring some solid pitchers and some hitters, and just the what a game can do. Sometimes you never know what a game's going to present itself. So to have those situations just show up and to be able to have somebody else to practice against, this is not unique to high school athletics or anything. I know you're a big sports fan and you follow all sports. You think about NFL spring training, how many times those NFL teams will actually end up practicing together. And I know in the summers, high school teams will go and they'll have practices together or 7-on-7s and those things. So just to have like a practice environment with a competitiveness and is all good. And our biggest thing was continue to develop and get out of there with no injuries. And I think we accomplished both of those.
Listen, you play in a really good district when you consider that Lutcher is sitting there in the non-select bracket at a very high seed. E.D. White is always going to be competitive on some level. I hate to sort of put the, cart in front of the horse and talk about if you do get past Frederick Douglass, but there might be a team like a St. Michael's looming, who is a traditionally good baseball program. How hard is it for you to keep the kids focused? Or do you have a group this year that just knows it's innate that they know how to be focused?
Well, yeah, I don't want to continue to sound like a broken record, but I mean, we're very process oriented and we're very day by day. We talked about the message to the team as the regular season ended and the playoffs begun. One of the messages kind of answers this question. The closer you get to the top of the summit, to the mountaintop, things would get more difficult. But if you take your eyes off of the next step and you start looking at the top of the mountain, then you're gonna stumble because you're not gonna focus on the step you need to take, and that's when a lot of mistakes happen for mountain climbers. A lot of the accidents happen, and they don't make it to the top because they get close to the top and they stop looking at their next step and they start looking at the summit of the mountain. So we're really focused on just winning one day at a time, one step at a time. And, whatever the game presents, whatever the day presents, whatever the moment presents, winning that moment, winning that time, and having a next pitch mentality.
So, I don't know if we'd be giving away any secrets. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you've done this study throughout the year. You know what your rotation is going to be as far as being on the mound for these upcoming games.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think we have a rotation, and obviously you always consider options and variables like who you playing against, what the weather's going to be like, recovery, rest, all those things taken into account. But we have kind of an understanding of where our arms fall in, and what their strengths are, and how to tackle a rotation as we enter a series.
Any part of the game bother you just a little bit right now? When I say that, I don't mean bother you necessarily from an outcome, but maybe something that you feel like y'all could do maybe a little bit better and it would help your chances of making a good run in this playoff?
Um, I think, kind of going back to the past question, maybe be more efficient with our pitch counts. Think we've done a good job of preventing teams from scoring, um, maybe limiting base runners better, and being more efficient so our our top arms could throw more innings for us. I don't know if it's a concern, but you want to plan for all opportunities, and really something that it's been a conversation with me and the pitching coaches and the coaches in the office has been. We looked at the Live Oak Prairieville series, and you don't want to be prepared for anything, and if you're not familiar, they played 14 innings in game one, and then they played a doubleheader the next day. The next game was a one-run game that went 9 innings, so that they were covering like 30 innings in 24 hours, which, could potentially happen. So we got to prepare for that. So we got to our top guys, we want to get some wins from them, but we got to be able to find a way to win, whether it's 2-1 or if it's, whatever the game presents, we got to be prepared.
Is there a sort of I guess it would be an experience factor with going to Sulphur before, even a few years ago when y'all won it all and y'all had to play sort of in a bigger venue when you took on University that year. Is there do you feel like there's an advantage to that? And I know that, we want to play one game at a time, but that you guys sorta can handle that a little bit better because 'cause you've seen it before, and now you know maybe where to stay if you get to Sulphur, all of those things that go along with, being successful?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I agree totally that the more you do something, the better you get at it. Familiarity, comfort, just specifically, like you mentioned, where to stay, when to stay. There's a hitting facility that we utilize when we go down there. Built a relationship with them. We know the roads, we know the eating, we know the process. Like some things you may not think about, but every game you got your pregame routine. You get to the state championship, they require you to take pictures and you got to show up 2 hours before your game time. And if you're not the first game of the day, if the game before you goes long, then there's a delay in there, and you really gotta focus on or just stay loose and relax. Find a air conditioned place where your team's not worn out, just baking in the sun, waiting to play. So there's little things that could occur that you know if you've been there, you can plan for, and it just mentally prepare for it that it won't frustrate you. You know it's coming. You prepare the kids, the ones that hadn't been there, and a lot of the older ones will tell the younger ones, what to expect. And it's a lot more comfortable when you've been there before, so you know what to expect.
It's so wild that it seems like we were just sitting actually here at the locker room talking about, preseason as you guys were getting ready to start and gear up for your jamborees that we're at this point now. But we all want to wish you guys the best of luck. Congratulations on what has been a terrific year. Number one seed. Not only that, as athletic director there at Vandebilt Catholic too, it's got to be a sense of pride that you have the baseball team as the number one seed in Division Two Select, but your softball team is the number one seed in Division Two Select. That doesn't happen very often, right?
Well, there's some rock stars, they have a lot of tradition over there. Those girls can really play the game, and like, again, just kind of things all piggyback on each other. Your previous question, you mentioned like experience, and that plays a lot. Experience kind of builds momentum and just success. But uh, Vanderbilt athletics, or just the school in general. One of the things that we build are faith, family, and excellence. And then the excellence part is really bleeds into athletics. Everything matters, and so yes, we're very proud of our softball team and all our athletic teams that are having success throughout the school year.
Listen, thank you so much for the time, Coach. We're going to keep up with you guys along the way for sure. Best of luck, and it all starts this Wednesday, Thursday, hopefully not Friday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if it does happen, a 3-game series with Frederick Douglass. Again, best of luck.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it, man.
A huge thanks to Chad Menard for giving up some time in this busy schedule. Again, his team has a 3-game series against Frederick Douglass, not the person, the high school, coming up later this week. I don't think the Terriers are going to have much trouble in that one. And we wish all of our local teams well in the second round of the playoffs. That's going to do it for us. Remember, have a wonderful look-alike day today. Go out and find that person who looks just like you. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do this day today. It's not like you have a barbecue or anything.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
I guess if you know your look-alike or there's a way you can connect with them, you could, send them a message.
Yeah.
Stan, all I want for Christmas.
I've got that before, and I'm sure the older I get, the more I'll get it. So yeah, I'm not looking like James Hetfield anymore. That's it for us, folks. Hope you have a wonderful week. We'll be back next Monday. Take care.